I'm Hugo, and I work at the bioinformatics training facility at Cambridge University. Um, and I guess I'm relatively new in the team, and I realize we are like a member of the Elixir community as well. So I suppose I'm representing Elixir UK in some way. And I just wanted to share what we've done, which is not, or for me, it's relatively new. So we've run our first single cell RNA-seq course this month. So it's kind of very fresh. Um, we'd ran a previous version of a course a couple of years ago, but there were different materials and different people involved. So this one was kind of a new course, really. And this was very heavily in collaboration with folk from Cancer Research UK Institute here at Cambridge. So they kind of developed most of the materials, really. So the course is, I think, similar to what other people have shown here. So the idea is really to introduce people that are coming new to this kind of data, to give them a sense of the general workflow, or as much of the workflow that is more or less standardized. And there isn't really anything that's truly standardized, I guess, still in the field, but there are some things that maybe we all do when we're doing research with these kind of data. So as I said, the course ran this month. We had 70 participants, so it's quite a lot. But there were 62 that were in the waiting list that we couldn't take anymore, and 29 that registered an interest. So this is usually people that can't attend the date that you're running the course, but they want to like be told next time you open it. So there's definitely a lot of interest kind of locally in Cambridge. The course ran over 3 days, and we split it across 3 weeks. So it was 1 day a week. It was all online. Unfortunately for me, I hate doing training online, but there you go. But it works quite well. The learners, I think, like it for different reasons. I think one obvious is they don't have to travel. The other is we record the sessions so they can actually go back and watch it. And running this over 3 weeks, once a week, it means they can go back and watch some of the recording for some of those sessions between the weeks. So I think it works quite well. The other thing that we do is we have, and others have mentioned this, like we use, it's not very sophisticated, but we use like a Google Doc that the learners can like post questions in there, and then the trainers kind of answer those questions. And I think people really like that because they really feel that they can tap into our expertise. So sometimes they ask very specific questions about, their own data and so on. So I think the feedback is quite good in terms of the kind of the experience of learning online, I guess. In terms of the tools that we use, we've opted by using the Bioconductor ecosystem of packages, partially because that's what we use in our own work. And it has the big benefit, I think, of us being able to complement our materials by referencing the OSCA book, which, is first of all, a huge inspiration for the course, but also just an amazing resource there. In terms of I thought I'd mention the data set that we're using throughout the course. It's quite hard, I guess, to find data sets that are kind of, that tick all the boxes of the things you want to demonstrate. But Stefan from CRUK found this data set that's actually quite nice because it brings together a bunch of things that you want to talk about in a course. So, there's diversity of cells. So this is data from childhood leukemia. And, there's diversity of cell types. So it's good when you're doing clustering and looking for marker genes and things like that. There's different batches, and you can see some batch effects. So it's nice for illustrating the data integration issues. And then there's different conditions. They have different samples from individuals with different mutations. So, that allows you to look at differential analysis between those groups and so on. So it's quite hard, I think, to find a data set, but this one worked quite well because it allowed us to demonstrate a few different things. We have a little bit of feedback. The course finished like last week, so the feedback form is still open, but generally I think it was good feedback. There were some comments, I think, so there's some challenges or things that we weren't so happy with, and some people mentioned as well in the feedback. One thing is like this is very code heavy, right? When we get to this kind of analysis. And so it's hard. I'm used to do lots of kind of live coding type of training. So I'm coming a bit from the carpentry's style of training. If you do intro to R course or intro to Python, you're kind of just live coding with the learners. But that you can't really do that with this kind of analysis. It's just too much. It would be too much coding. You wouldn't cover anything during the course. So that's a bit of a challenge. These are complex objects as well. So like the single cell experiment, for example, but it's the same thing with the annotate, whatever the Python one is called, and data or something, or the Seurat object. They're all kind of the same thing. They're complex objects. So, the learners have to get their head around that. And it might be the first time that they're encountering these objects. There were some gaps, I think, in prerequisite knowledge. So, the intro to R course that we give, for example, is, if some of you are familiar with the data carpentry materials, it's great. They're great course, but they're very tidyverse centric. And that means that when you get to these bioconductor packages, things break down a little bit. Like people don't have that, like even square brackets is like, people are just used to using pipes for everything these days. So like you come with these single cell objects and you're doing square brackets and so on, and people are like, what's going on? And, there's a lot of steps in the analysis. I think this can become sometimes confusing or overwhelming for the learners. People, for example, at one point were getting confused about the integration of different data sets or batch correction and the normalization. When do I use the integrated values or not? So like there's some confusion sometimes that was left in the learners, I think, and that partially can be addressed by us. But I think it's also just inherent, like that there's so much that they're taking in over 3 days. So I think that's another challenge I found in the course. And then there were some challenges around the training environment. This was okay. So we did, like Charlotte actually mentioned, we used training instances running on AWS servers. We're using RStudio Server. So the learners just access it from the browser. Everything's installed there. And there was a Guacamole instance as well, because we also showed them how to use Cell Ranger. So they launched the Guacamole to get a terminal and do the Cell Ranger practical there. So that was okay. I mean, the challenge there is mostly that you kind of sometimes have to subset the data that they're working with to make sure that it runs in a reasonable time and things like that. So there's, I suppose, a few challenges there. In terms of improvements, I think, I mean, especially now having heard several of you this morning, I think having pre-recorded videos for some of these topics would actually be great. And that's what I was asking earlier, whether we could use some of the existing videos, because maybe that just lowers the barrier of entry to some of the learners. The other thing is, like, how can we like strike a balance between interactivity or no interactivity at all? And I think the balance that we're trying to reach there is to maybe have like scripts that already have the code in there, but you still run them interactively with them on the RStudio. So you're all together having your script open, and then you're kind of running the code together. So you can explain the code and people can, feel like they are actually running this thing, and then they can tweak things around and do some exercises around the code that's already there, so they can kind of play around with the code and write new chunks of code and so on. And then a big limitation is like, we're covering the bioconductor ecosystem, but, people are constantly asking, how do you do this in Seurat? Or not as much in ScanPy, but for sure Seurat is, people come with questions about Seurat. So I don't know how we can do that by running the workshop in the way we do, but I suppose like maybe just having that in the materials so that people can like at least see how you would do this thing in these other languages. So that's mostly what I had to say. The link to the course is there, and it's also I've put it in the Google Doc that we're sharing. As I said, like a huge acknowledgement here to Stefan, who developed a lot of the materials. He's now at the Sanger Institute. Other people at CRUK that did contributed to materials and did the training as well. Some people from other institutes around Cambridge. And this is my team at the Bioinformatics Training Facility. You might know maybe Annalisa or Alexia, because they're quite involved in the Elixir community. And Matt is kind of our manager. So that's all. Happy to take any questions.